Welcome to the Envibe Live podcast with Amy Parker and Cheryl Dunn. By tuning in, you are joining a community that will inspire you to increase balance, wellness, and joy in your life. We'll offer expert information and insightful conversations to help us all on our journey to live more Envibe. For more information and articles, remember to also check out our website at envibelife.com. That's ENVIBELIFE.com. And we're grateful that you're here. Hi, it's Amy and Cheryl here today from Envibe Life, and today we have Chrissy Lim, the physician's assistant here at Skin Savvy, and Stefani Wooldridge, who is a registered dietitian. And here today we're going to talk about body balance method, and I'm just going to let them take the floor here because, we sent in some questions, but
well, for the most part, Chrissy and Stefani, we want you to tell us what body balance is and why you started it.
Sure. So I'm owner of Skin Savvy, and we do a lot of aesthetic treatments, hormonal wellness. We have a wellness center here, and what we were missing, I think, and what we got a lot of questions about from all of our women and men clients was nutrition and supplements, where to go, what to look for. And so this has been a passion of mine for some time. And so I found Stefani, thank goodness, and we partnered together last year and put together a full nutrition program. And so she can tell you a little bit more about that, where we went with it.
Yeah, so as a registered dietitian, I've been a dietitian for 5 years now, and I knew right away that I didn't want to go to the conventional route, like going into hospitals and nursing homes and things like that, or food service. So I really wanted to work with people one-on-one and get to the root of their problems. And I saw this need for, there's so many different diets out there and different things that you can do. But the root of the body balance program is to reduce inflammation, balance hormones, create a good relationship with food. Our program is really customizable depending on, whatever you're coming in with. If you want to lose weight, boost your energy, anything.
I think one of the favorite things that I just heard her say was create a good relationship with food. Mm-hmm. And that is hard to do, I think, as women. We sometimes make it the evil, right?
Right. Or deny what we're denying.
Right. So that's one thing that really struck me with learning about your system is that it was balanced, but it was also customizable because one shoe doesn't fit all.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of noise out there, a lot of information online. So what I tell people is, you can do paleo, keto, be vegan, try all of these crazy diets, but it's really about finding what works for your body and what, helps you feel your best and helps you metabolically be healthy. So
do you find that sometimes if people are on the wrong one of those for them, they'll have negative results? You might hear your neighbor had this great result with keto or paleo or something, and then you try it like, I've been doing this for weeks and I haven't lost a single pound. And
I don't feel
definitely.
good.
Right, you feel terrible.
Yeah.
Or you get started and it's great, it's awesome, you're losing weight, and then nothing. It just stalls out, you hit a plateau. It's all about switching it up, and you can do a variation of those diets for sure, but use them as tools to figure out what works best for you. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I think we coupled in the medical component, where we do extensive lab testing, we look at inflammatory markers, we offer food sensitivity testing to see, are you sensitive to dairy? Should you not be eating tons of cheese with the keto diet?
Right.
Is that causing, poor gut health and inflammation to where you actually aren't going to lose weight? Someone that's especially gluten sensitive, or maybe they eat a ton of shrimp and they're sensitive to shrimp. That was my thing. I was like, shrimp's the most healthy, so I'm going to add it. And it turns out
I don't want the test.
I know what they're going to say. No more chocolate and no more wine. That's good to know, because especially knowing that you guys kind of specialize in skin as well, what you eat is a direct reflection of what's coming out on your face.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that's huge. And that's one of the things, too, with having the fitness side of the business and seeing how I felt like people were working really hard and doing all the things that they should be doing, but the scale wasn't moving or they weren't feeling well, you know, and that's when I was like, you know what, you really need to figure out what's going on with your gut. Don't listen to your neighbor who says, only do paleo, you know, really find that this testing is the key. Right. And now, how extensive is the testing, and is it, I don't like needles, is it, what is it exactly? Is it, I don't know.
Yeah,
do we draw blood?
Yeah, we have several different tests. So what people do is they come in, sit down with me, we discuss their health history, their goals, kind of their symptoms and what's going on, and then determine what testing would be appropriate for them. So whether that's extensive blood work and cardiovascular panels, which is blood testing with needles and blood draws.
just look the other way.
Or if it's like GI issues and they may need something that's called a stool test to look at their microbiome and see the ratio of good bacteria to bad bacteria, if there's any pathogens.
Interesting.
Or the food sensitivity testing is actually a blood test, a blood draw. There's a lot of different food sensitivity tests out there. Some are just like a finger prick, but the one that we have been using and I've been using for years is a little bit more comprehensive and reliable. So I think it's like 4 tubes. Yeah.
And then you have the option, kind of depending on how extensive, again, you want to get with
Right.
these labs, particularly with the food sensitivity, is they can do as few as, I think, 85 or as many as 130
Different types of food?
different types of foods.
Wow.
And then they...
85 is good.
It's
Yeah.
pretty exactly. So then up to 130, it really breaks it down. You can
I
look
want to
at
know
it.
everything.
I wanted the big daddy. I want to know all the things. So and they provide you with this excellent printout that Stephanie can then review with you and explain, you know, how allergic are you or how sensitive are you, and then develop a program and a nutrition plan that's going to kind of, you know, accommodate those things.
And, you know, a lot of people don't want to know the testing. They don't want to know, like, what's going on. But it's really empowering to know. And, you know, the good thing about food sensitivities is they're reversible. So you can actually work to reverse your food sensitivities with the proper, you know, nutrition therapy. To whereas an allergy is, you know, a forever thing. But,
Right.
Interesting. I think you just said, you know, an allergy is a for everything, like if you're allergic to a certain food.
yes.
But I wonder if you could even improve that. I don't know.
I think they do. Yeah.
I think absolutely you can.
100%.
Yeah.
Just like with seasonal allergies, you know, you can do
They get
the
better.
desensitization, desensitization method. You can do that, I think, even people with severe peanut allergies. We don't do that.
Yes.
But that is, you know, kind of, we're doing that on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
I used to have real food dye, like bad reactions, and now that my son is 20, that doesn't happen anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would guess it's the same thing for these. Is there a genetic component to?
So it actually, you know, there could be a little bit, but it's really like what you're exposing yourself to. So I find your environment, what foods you're eating. I find that a lot of people who come in, you know, they get the test done and they're like, oh my gosh, it's all of the foods that I eat. Like every single one that's reactive, like those are the only foods they're eating.
That's why I'm afraid to do this.
It's lack of variety. Your immune system is just getting triggered. So we just work to incorporate different foods.
Well, do you tend to crave the things you have sensitivity to?
I don't know if it, well, sometimes maybe it's like sugar and things like that, but I think it's more of just like, you know, getting in a food rut and just used to doing the same things and things like that.
So tell us a little bit about what you have here. It seems like there's some supplements and some powder.
Yeah, so with our program, we include some dietary supplements. So we partner with a couple really good brands. We use Orthomolecular and Apex Energetics. But we have private labeled some of our, you know, key ingredients that we really use with our clients. And this one is our NutriBalance powder. It's a multivitamin and mineral. I've been using this for years and I absolutely love it. It's really
Could it go in a smoothie?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Sure.
It makes it so good.
Yeah.
It actually has a really good flavor.
It has
It's not
flavor.
like disgusting and gritty tasting.
Right.
And then we have, you know, a variety of supplements. We have vitamin C here and DIM for hormones. So.
Got it.
But again, it's about, you know, figuring out what's going on with you and getting each person on the right plan.
Right. And when you do the testing, you can figure out which supplements they need, right? Has there been one particular supplement that you have seen have a higher, you know, this is one that most people need? Have you found one like that?
I definitely think that like this NutriBalance powder, because even if you're eating like the healthiest diet ever, not a lot of processed foods, tons of fruits and vegetables, you know, you still might have some deficiencies in certain vitamins and minerals. So I always think everybody should be taking a broad spectrum multivitamin. And it just helps to reduce inflammation. It has a little bit of liver support in there. You know, we're exposed to so many things. So
That's true.
And it's a powder. So I don't know if you've ever seen the x-ray where someone takes like a Centrum vitamin and it passes all the way through their gut and never dissolves.
And
Never dissolves. So they think, you know, here's someone that's actually taking the effort, and they have pictures where someone's got 3 Centrum vitamins streaming through their gut, fully, you know, encapsulated, hasn't dissolved at all. So I think that's what's nice here. We don't have to hope that the digestive system's going to break it down. It's just ready and bioavailable.
Yeah. Especially if someone's gut is a mess. You don't want to load them up on pills and capsules and things like that.
Yeah.
Absorb them.
I definitely have seen that where people will get lots of cramps, right? And they're like, but I'm taking my magnesium and I'm taking this and I'm taking that. And the whole time I hear this story and I think, it's probably not absorbing.
Right.
You know, because the gut, you know, and the gut is a big part of skin inflammation, and inflammation shows up in many ways. It can show up as pain. It can show up through like breakouts, right?
Yeah. Chronic disease. I mean, it can show up in so many.
So many things. And so the gut is like, I feel like the biggest key. And I felt like that's why it was so important that Amy and I brought somebody on that this is what they do, is really get people's gut balanced and feeling better. And
so I'm the person who only knows a little bit about this, like the periphery. Oh yeah, we should all healthy gut. What are some signs that things might be off?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I actually have all of our clients fill out this sheet right here, and it's really eye-opening. A lot of people aren't necessarily really in tune with their body, so that's something that we work on. So I have them fill out some paperwork, and this has a long list of all of these different symptoms that can be related to inflammation. Anything from fatigue, poor sleep, a runny or stuffy nose, skin breakouts, pain, migraines, headaches,
being bloated all the time and gassy. That's a lot of times.
Cravings, sore joints.
And we're going to post a link to this document that she's referring to, because I think there's a lot of things that she has here that people don't realize are inflammation. Right?
Yeah. Like my last client that came in, he was like, well, how am I going to know like if this is working? Like I'm not in tune with my body, so I'm just not really sure. I've never really like felt if I had an ache or a pain, but you know, once you get this test done and go through our protocol and reduce that inflammation, you do learn your body, and you can recognize when something is causing, you know, some symptoms in your body.
I think a lot of times it's that this is your normal, right? So you don't necessarily know how bad you feel until you feel good. And so when you're able to cut the junk out of your diet and let your body start functioning how it's supposed to, then when you add those things back in, you go, oh, I don't feel great. So it's pretty eye-opening whenever you are able to kind of go through the program, cut the junk, and then slowly, you know, add different things and see how your body responds. It's pretty impressive.
And I've talked a lot about like cutting foods out, but my goal is to have people on, you know, the widest variety of foods possible. I'm not one for restrictive diets. I think there's a time and a place for them, but it's all about finding balance and indulging here and there, but getting your body to a point where you feel comfortable doing that, and then know how to recover from that. So, you know, healthy aging long term, like that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Well, and I think this is really timely right now because, you know, just for information out there to our audience, we're recording this right after everyone's been in quarantine, and I think a lot of us got off our program.
I did.
I think the majority.
I had
some serious baking.
I had my college-age kids at home, and I mean, just the phenomenon of needing to stock my fridge for, oh my gosh, it could be 2 weeks, and I can get this now. I don't know when I'll be able to get something fresh in the grocery store again. I was cooking in ways I don't normally cook. And I'm on that track right now. I don't feel as good as I felt for a long time. And so this is very timely, I think, when people need that reset. What would another good time be? I mean, are there different times or ages or when your hormones start to shift or anything like that you would say, if you haven't by now, you should really...
Certainly. I think, always it's a good time to get educated on what your body responds best to. But particularly through menopause, when women are in that perimenopausal phase and hormones are changing, the body is just going crazy. And so checking hormones, of course, but also checking, what are your food triggers and things like that is important.
Blood sugar, everything.
Yeah. What did I have heard through some other methods that they like seasonal sort of like cleanses? What do you think of like cleanses, like you see those juice cleanses or you see the fasting and that kind of stuff? What do
intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
We hear a lot about
what do
that.
you think about some of that stuff?
The way, and just kind of to piggyback off what she was saying earlier, I think our program is a little bit different in that it's more of a lifestyle versus a diet. That's for sure a 4-letter word for me, diet. Just as such a negative connotation. So I think, when you're talking about a juice cleanse, or you're talking about that intermittent fasting, for some people maybe that's a lifestyle, but for the majority it's usually their quick fix or something that they're...
It's those 5 pounds.
Yeah. Right, it's the 5 pounds.
For 2 weeks.
And then they're miserable and their blood sugar's low all the time and they're angry, so that's also not good. Yeah. So I kind of think, there's a time and a place for those, like you were saying, but, more on the short term than long term.
Yeah. I think that's key is, balancing it all out and making it more of a lifestyle.
Yeah. Right.
It's kind of like, I often tell people that your body is like your car. You can keep running it and driving it and driving it and driving it, but if you don't get your oil changed, if you don't change the spark plugs or do I don't know what kind of maintenance a car. But I know you gotta put gas in it, right? And I did learn that one in college. I was like, why is it not working? But it's that kind of stuff. It's the maintenance that will keep that car running forever, right?
Yeah.
So it's important.
Okay, so if someone comes to you or in the program, they start with the blood work, and then what? And how long does it last? Or is it forever? Or what is the whole program?
Yeah, so it's, like I said, we have like kind of a structure of the program, but within that it's very customizable depending on where the person is at and where they're looking to go. I typically like to work with people for around 3 months. I find that, the first month we're kind of just getting our feelers, we're being more in tune with our body, we're learning about the foods that we're eating, if they're, things we should be eating, things we shouldn't, and then month 2 and 3 we can get a little bit more specific on their goals, maybe some things we found in their blood work to optimize that. If they want to lose weight, we can get more specific on that, different things like that.
So in our new virtual world that's happening, are you guys doing telehealth where someone could just call you and maybe go run the test wherever they live?
Yeah, definitely.
Our audience, we found is all over the world.
Yeah.
The people that are listening are not necessarily here, but what you're providing is great. And I feel like they could go to get their test.
Yeah.
You could read the results and just simply work over the phone with them.
Definitely. Video, phone calls. Yeah, luckily this can all be done virtually. Like you said, get the labs drawn wherever, we get the results and we go over everything together. We can drop ship supplements to people, we can work with whoever, wherever.
Yeah. I think
thanks to quarantine and COVID, we got our virtual game running now, so we are ready.
Yeah, and it was, little blessings.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Got everybody over that hump of being on camera.
Yeah.
Here we are.
I know, that's a funny thing. I keep lip gloss in my desk drawer at my house now because you never know when a Zoom call is.
Right?
Yeah.
The worst is like I would put on my lip gloss and then I would go to the grocery and then you put your mask over your lip gloss and you're like,
all inside the mask.
who's like, why did you do that? I didn't even have to put on makeup today.
Right.
That was my lip gloss.
New world we're in.
Experience.
Our new normal.
Yeah.
I think I would like to ask about foods you recommend. Do you ever see any patterns? Like, this is a food that, I think sugar, a lot of us know, often causes inflammation. Or is there a category of foods out there that are just great for the gut, or, those people who maybe can't do the testing and can't come to the program? Any little tips or information?
Yeah,
for
definitely.
them right now?
And just to, have a note on this too, we do not have to do testing either. That's optional, depending on what everyone wants to do. There are things called like an elimination diet that we can do that's similar to a food sensitivity test. It's the next best thing without doing any testing. So that is an option as well. But there are certain foods or food groups that I do see pop up most for people on the food sensitivity test. I feel like a lot of people know what I'm going to say, but things like dairy, gluten and wheat come up a lot.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Eggs is a really common one too.
Mm-hmm. That's eggs. I especially see when I have patients with chronic inflammation in the skin. I will, prior to now, I would send them somewhere and say, you've got to get, this is coming from the inside out. And so now luckily we have that in-house, but eggs, I feel like a lot of times when people have, dermatitis and chronic inflammation in the skin, it's eggs.
Yeah.
Eggs.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I
That's a lot of people.
Eggs.
I know. That's usually
so
I
easy.
eat eggs every day. I'm like,
I don't think they're easy.
Yeah.
They are easy.
Especially the boiled egg, have it at lunch, take it with you.
Yeah. I just taught my 10-year-old how to make his own scrambled eggs. He likes to cook, so he's like, I got the best scrambled eggs. And I'm like, whatever. If you can cook for yourself,
by all means.
Definitely. Although I did
That's
walk
what
in
I
the other
always
day
do,
and
too.
smell a lot of natural gas. He'd let the burner go.
Oh, no.
It's like, okay, big lesson.
Oh,
Big
gosh.
lesson. Yeah.
Okay, what about beneficial foods?
Yeah, there's so many good foods. I tend to lean towards more of a whole foods diet and minimally processed food. So you mentioned sugar, so cutting out, processed sugars and even, more natural sugars for the time being, like honey and maple syrup, that our body responds the same way to, refined sugars. So we cut that out for a period of time and then fill up on lots of, greens and vegetables, a variety of them. Good healthy proteins, probiotic rich foods like fermented foods, things like that.
And I will say, Stephanie's really good. She's got, I think, 1 million recipes. I mean, and for like a novice cook.
Yeah.
Because, I don't, with being a working mom, we have about this much time to put dinner together, and you're a short order cook, and you're making some for each kid, lots of different things.
Yes.
So she has a lot of really good guidance as to, okay, you should try kale. And you tell me kale, and I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And she said, do this salad. This is easy. Or, you can do it, blanch it like this. It's so simple. So she's really great, too, with helping guide people that way. Even someone, again, like myself, who's not exactly the best in the kitchen.
It's all about baby steps and simple swaps. So I'm not going to overwhelm you when you come in. I'll meet you where you're at and help guide you, even if it's just a kale salad. Baby steps. And then what I love is, we start there. These people who are like, I cannot get off sugar. I can't get off caffeine. I can't do this. I can't do that. There's no way. I hate cooking. And then 6 weeks into it, they're like, guess what? I cooked this. I did a stir fry. I did this salad, this smoothie, and they just love it. So
and they feel empowered.
Yeah.
I think they're proud.
Learning new
empowered,
techniques. Yeah, it's not as hard as you think it's going to be. So
right.
Do you have people come in and complain that I'm choosing to eat this way, but I'm having a hard time with my family?
Oh, yeah.
I would feel like that would be the biggest obstacle.
That would be one for me, yeah.
In my house, being that I'm the only girl in the house. Amy as well. We just have boys, and, I could lay out this beautiful vegetarian meal that I think is fabulous. And they're like, we're not touching this.
I do think that is part of the fact that, again, not a diet, a lifestyle.
Yes.
So we're not, the only time you're truly cutting foods is if you're going through that elimination diet phase, where you're cutting out certain food groups and phasing them back in. So maybe if you can get your family to kind of like be on board for 28 days.
Yeah.
But beyond that, absolutely, you should be able to feed your family anything that they love. So I do think that it is something that the family can eat that way. It might be new. If you're used to eating mostly takeout and to go, then it might be a learning curve there. But I don't think that it's going to be too
crazy.
Limited.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's all about finding new favorite foods too, things that they may not have even thought about eating.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I'm really good about finding recipes that are very similar, but maybe with healthier alternative ingredients.
Right.
You know, even
Right.
things if you have kids at home, like chicken tenders or like macaroni or spaghetti, like we can make simple swaps to make it a little bit healthier and nutrient dense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. So, if you don't want to do the elimination diet because it just sounds very overwhelming,
Yeah.
which is kind of sometimes how I feel.
Yeah.
Right.
If you just did the testing,
Mm-hmm.
then you wouldn't necessarily have to do the elimination.
Well, you can.
That's not bad.
I mean, if you really want to get the most out of the test, you would do an elimination based off of your test results.
Okay.
Right.
So you would then eliminate the things that you see on your test results are triggers. You
Yes.
would eliminate those things
For a period of time, not
like
forever.
30 days.
A little,
Average? A little more.
3 to 6 months.
3 to 6
Yes,
months.
that's about
Okay.
how long it takes to recover from a food sensitivity.
See,
3 to 6 months.
That's really good to
So
know.
a lot of people do,
Yeah.
avoid it for 30 days. Great, I feel good. And then they go back and they're like, oh, I did a food sensitivity test. I didn't see any results from it. Well, you may not have had someone help you, guide you through that process
Yes.
correctly.
Yeah. And I feel like the accountability,
Yeah.
It's huge.
knowing that
Mhm.
I'm going to have to fess up.
Yeah.
That I'm
I get that
really
one.
cheated,
I'm in the back of people's minds all the time when they're like,
Yeah, I think
Totally,
it makes a big difference because I can't tell you how many times I'm like, oh, I should probably eliminate this and see how it goes. Yeah, that lasts for about 3 days.
yeah.
But if I actually have to, if I'm like, sometimes a girlfriend and I will be like, okay, starting this week, we're going to write down everything we eat, right? Because
Mhm.
that kind of helps me to just
Yeah.
write it down. And
And
then
then
I'm
the
like,
accountability.
Yeah.
yeah, I become aware. So when her and I meet up for our run, and I'm like, oh, totally cheated today.
Yeah.
It makes it so much better when I'm accountable.
Right.
You know?
Mm-hmm. And then going back to where like the elimination sounds a little bit overwhelming, it's not like you have to do that. Like I
Right.
said, I'll meet you where you're at and we'll just take baby steps. So if you're not ready to do that and it all sounds really overwhelming and you just want to, clean up your diet a little bit, improve your lifestyle, things like that, we can
Increase
start
your energy.
there. Increase your energy. There's
Right.
little things that we can do without doing all of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think with your recipes, it helps with the elimination. That knowing that, because I feel like where I've read, oh, do this elimination diet, what's daunting is I look at it going, well, there's nothing I can eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the recipes that you have, that will
I
help.
think with the blood tests too, though, that's what appeals to me
Mhm.
because I feel like, all right, I have a roadmap. I don't have to just
Guess.
cut
Yeah,
everything out
the roadmap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right away.
Mhm.
So I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in. Is there anyone at any point where they can't see a reversal of those inflammation conditions or gut health or things like that?
I think they can all be improved upon. Certainly, I don't think anyone should just give up on it by any means. It might take a little bit more time to reverse some of these things and a little bit more work and effort, but for the most part, I think that people can get back to where they're really feeling good and energized.
Would you think it would be harder after menopause to make these changes than before, or does that not factor?
I think maybe just the fact that you've been doing these habits longer might,
Okay.
so the gut maybe has more inflammation. And that's with the blood test particularly, and what's so enlightening about it, I think, is that it puts you on a scale, 1 to 10, how sensitive you are to these things. So then okay, so red dye number 7, I'm a little bit aggravated, but over here, wheat for me is off the charts. So it does help you kind of gauge, like, these are really triggers. These are ones that maybe I should just watch. So you can kind of plan that way. And so then, to your point, if someone's been eating a certain thing for a really long time, they may have a higher sensitivity level to that. So then it's just going to take them a little bit longer to reverse it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to know, because I do feel like that this whole, I have not gone through menopause yet, but I feel like I hear the story that it's just going to be terrible, you're going to feel this way, you're going to gain weight, you're going to eat so good, but nothing's going to change. So I feel like if those sort of things do start happening as people go through menopause, if you're already, or even if you jump into this when you notice those sort of things, that it can help ward those things off and maybe ease that hormone change.
Absolutely.
Certainly.
I think, speaking as someone who's entering, I just turned 50. Cheryl knows this. Most of the viewers know this. I think it's like everything else, though. You have all of these different pieces of the puzzle, and you have to keep them all balanced. And we're talking about nutritional balance here, and then there's movement, and there's mental health and wellness, spirit, mind, body, spirit, which brings us to, that's what we're all about. And that's what we're passionate about, and why we're doing what we're doing and starting what we're starting. And we're big proponents that balance happens each day. Balance is in the little moments each day, not work yourself crazy or run yourself ragged and then
take a break.
And then
go right back
in. Although, I think retreats are great. I think all of those things are wonderful, but it's what you do every day. So we like to ask people, what's something you like to do every day to bring balance to your day?
So I think, particularly with the quarantine, it was very enlightening for me. I think as a business owner, and then, like I said, I'm a mom, and, running a house and running a business and just running.
Yeah.
I think that having that time to just stop, even if it was, for 30 minutes in the morning to sit on the front porch and just be quiet, I think taking that active, effort to stop has been really huge for me. And I think for my family as well, for all of us to just not have to be somewhere all the time. And so actually making time now that we are back in the swing where we go, okay, and I think for a lot of families, maybe that's dinner time. Maybe for some it's, to and from soccer, but just when you have that time that you can, just be,
nice.
I think, awesome and so important for mental health. So many things. So for me, I think that's where I've found joy, especially in the COVID crazy. So
the pause.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And then also I loved what you said there is how you can continue to find the pause or that time, even though life is back ish.
I think it just takes more of a conscious effort. Now we know, okay, this is what.
Maybe it's 30 and it's not 30.
Right.
Or
even 5.
Right. Just any of those little snippets that you can cut out of your day, I think are huge for yourself and with your family.
Yes. Instead of scrolling the phone for 5-10 minutes. Just
Be present.
Yeah.
We play a lot of
you have something.
You do.
You have something every day or each day?
Yeah, I try to exercise or at least just move my body every single day, even if it's not an exercise or a workout or a class. I just move, go on a walk, just take some time to move my body, just get all this stress out of me.
That's
really helpful.
You just split the size of the potato. She's the movement person.
Yes. So it just kind of chills everything out and calms it. And I was a mover before COVID, but it is a little different now. It's I'm not forcing myself to squeeze it in this time. I'm trying to take a little bit more, not beat myself up if it's not what I planned that day or just keep moving. But that's awesome. So movement is your thing and just taking that time to take a breath, the pause. I love that. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So thank y'all so much. Just anything else that you really want our viewers to hear before we wrap up today?
I think you can check us out at thebodybalanceMethod.com. If you have questions or anything, you can always email Stephanie directly from that website.
Okay.
Just questions, concerns, anything.
And we will have that website in the show notes to this podcast.
Perfect.
Yeah. And we'll put this little skin sensitivity, not skin, but
Inflammation.
food inflammation down there for people too. And you guys will be able to access them from our website. And then
and we're going to work really hard right now to beg Stephanie for a recipe or two.
Maybe that kale.
I promise it's good.
Well, thank y'all for tuning in. It was our pleasure to have you guys. Thank you so much
Thank you for having us
to do this. So it's been great. And go check it out. It's the Body Balance Method from Skin Savvy. We'll have the links there And thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Chrissy. And
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in. Be well.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Envibe Life podcast. For more information and to join our community, be sure and check out our website at www.envibelife.com. We look forward to sharing with you.